Peak produce season is just around the corner, and here to show us how to enjoy those fresh fruits and veggies, make them last, and even save you some money is Megan Myrdal along with Sam Rydell. Thank you for coming in, you two. And look how beautiful this table looks. It's amazing. So first, why should we buy at local farmers markets?
So there's a lot of great benefits to buying locally produced food. Knowing where your food comes from, being able to talk to your local farmer like Sam here at the farmers market. But unfortunately, there's kind of this perception that local food can be more expensive. And so one thing that we really wanted to talk about today is that local food is very cost competitive to the foods that you're finding at grocery stores. When Sam and I were getting our produce together to bring to the show today, we were going through the prices that you find at the local grocery stores, and his costs are the same, if not cheaper, than some of the things that you can buy at the local grocers.
And of course, fresher.
Yeah.
I mean, that, you know, you
I picked these 2 days ago.
Oh, 2 days ago. Okay, you don't get that necessarily when you're shipping things across the country.
And oftentimes when you go to the farmers market, that food has been picked within 24 hours. So the freshness, the nutrients, and then also when you're shopping locally too, those dollars stay in our local economy. They go to our local farmers and then they just ripple throughout.
I mean, this stuff almost looks like you would put it in a picture like these.
Is that real?
And they're just so perfectly done. So here's what I'd love to know, because you go to the farmer's market, you know, you got different bags and different stuff. What's the best way to kind of get the most out of a farmer's market? What you guys suggest? Show up with your own bags and kind of go, okay, I've got a week with this kind of produce, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think some people like to go with a plan and come with a list of what they need for the week, but sometimes it's fun to just sort of go and see what's available, because, you know, there's sort of new things coming along as the summer comes along, so sometimes it's nice to just go with no plan.
Go and see what happens.
Yeah.
What is in season right now, though? Because could you guys also give people suggestions? I mean, I guess what's there is what's in season, but what can they look for right now and then as the weeks go on?
Yeah, so as sort of summer is coming along, more and more things are coming into season. So right here we have got some squash and some salad mix that's in season, and some herbs are starting to come into season and mature, and a lot of this stuff you can find at the co-op or other local grocery stores.
Yeah, I know I have an abundance of rhubarb in my backyard. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. Asparagus, radishes. Kind of depends. Sam is a grower in the area and he has a greenhouse, so when I brought these into the office, people are like, where do you have local squash right now? But with season extension, we're seeing things a lot earlier than we used to.
That's awesome. And so you brought in some zucchini, obviously, but you're also showing us some different things we can do with it and prepare. I feel like making the, what do you call that? Is that making like noodles out of yours? It looks like pasta.
Yeah, so that's become a really popular way for people to enjoy a noodle-like vegetable, I guess. So that's what's called a spiralizer, or but basically what you're able to do is you're able to put a squash, or some people do carrots, and then you're able to spiralize it so it looks like a noodle. And it's a really handy tool to have, especially for those.
Buddy?
Yeah, go
try.
for it, Sam.
No pressure.
I didn't give him any
directions.
Yeah, no. But those tools are pretty, they're not super expensive. They're somewhere between $10 and $15. Also in the front there, I just have a knife and your basic vegetable peeler. You can see on the front here, this is what you get when you use the spiralizer. This is just using your vegetable peeler, so you can get something that's kind of similar. And then I'm a big anti-food waste advocate, so I always save this middle, and then you can use that as an addition to salads or different things like that. So a lot of different ways to be able to enjoy zucchini. What's great about this too is that like a cup and a half of that is 33 calories. If you compare that to a cup and a half of pasta and noodles, that's more like 200, 250 calories. Melissa was just talking about the keto diet, people being interested in reducing carbohydrates and saving calories. So those fresh garden produce can also be a good way to cut calories too.
I'm also very kid focused, but it's like adult or kids, it's more fun eating food that looks like that, right? I would imagine the kids would love even making it.
Yeah, and it's super easy to do, so getting the kids in the kitchen, letting them be involved in making the food, super fun.
I just bought a spiralizer, I haven't used it yet, at Kohl's before Father's Day for like $12 or something. So you're right, they're very reasonably priced. It's not like expensive.
Well, and the other thing too is you can buy these pre-cut at the grocery store, but the tins that I've seen them in are somewhere between $8 and $10. If you think about these zucchinis being less than $1 a piece, and you can get that that tool can save you a lot of money.
So you also have some ideas for what we can then make. I mean, we're just spiralizing, but then what's next? How do you make this a meal?
So there are so many different things coming out of the garden this time of year, and it's kind of changing on a weekly basis. So one thing that I love to encourage people to think about is making bowls, because it's a really easy way to just incorporate whatever you have on hand and whatever is seasonal. And so this isn't a recipe per se, it's more of like a concept way of eating. So I always encourage people to start with a grain. This is brown rice, so you're getting a whole grain, so you have that fiber and extra nutrition. So starting your bowl base with a little bit of rice, you could use barley or oats or whatever it is that you prefer to have. Then pick a protein. So if you eat meat or eggs or those type of things, I'm doing a couple different types of beans, garbanzo beans and black beans. Did you know that North Dakota is the #1 producing state of all dry edible beans?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have known that, but I did not.
I just brushed up on all my North Dakota egg facts before coming on here. So doing a couple different types of beans. I've got some of the fresh lettuce from Sam's Garden, so adding a little bit of that. This is a really awesome lettuce. Maybe Sam can tell you a little more about the varieties that he has in there.
Just a few varieties with some different textures, which sort of adds a little addition to your
The texture
meal.
it's key. It's fun.
The texture, the color, absolutely. I'm gonna have you pan me the zucchini over there so we can get some of those beautiful spiralized zucchini in there. Also, when you're making these bowls, adding different textures is really nice too. So that's
That
a nice.
amazing.
Canned corn. I'm a big believer that fresh is awesome, but cost effective. Canned corn can last in your cupboard for years. So if you've got that on hand, use some of that. I had some extra baby carrots on hand, so just slice those up, put them in. Just make use of what you have on hand, you know?
Can you open up a restaurant in town?
I want
so
the dream, the dream.
Honestly, that looks amazing.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. One other thing that I think is a great tip, you know the end of chip bags, there's always that little bit at the bottom? Keep a bag in your cupboard where you just dump that all in there. It adds a little bit of crunch on top of your bowl. So don't throw that away. It tastes super good on these salads. Little cheese, if you like to have that. Another way to just add a little bit of extra flavor. And then this, all it is just salsa and the extra sour cream mixed together. Put a little on top of your bowl. Where did my
All right, we've got to wrap it up. That was fantastic. You have the salad with the watermelon drink. You're set. Here's a little double your food dollars, and stay with us. We're going to wrap things up right after this.